Welcome to Protect Your Posture. Today's session is all about helping us feel a little bit longer, a little bit more lifted into our posture, but to also help strengthen and activate those deep stabilizing and postural muscles that help support us into that lovely position and posture. So often things throughout daily life, whether it's driving, reading, looking after children, or maybe working at a desk, we tend to get so flexed into that upper body. And that in itself can cause problems. Not only does it maybe make us feel a little bit older as we come into that traditionally position that we think about when we associate with older people, but also it can cause pain, discomfort, tightness around the upper back, neck and shoulders. So today, this is a really nice session to help combat that and help open you up and feel a little bit more longer, lifted and a bit more energized into your posture. Today, you're just going to need your mat and a long resistance band. To make this easier or harder at different points, you can change the resistance of your band. And I'll talk that through as we go, but generally you want sort of a light to medium resistance band. If you do have options, you can keep them by your mat and play with that resistance as we go. Okay? But let's get started. So we are going to take that long resistance band under your right foot and both ends of the band into your right hand. Feet are finding our standard Pilates setup. So that parallel position like we're standing in train tracks. We're going to soften into the knees and just grow nice and tall through the spine. You might already feel that we maybe want to be pulled off to the right and follow that resistance band. So I just want you to be mindful of that and think about really growing nice and tall as we ground into the feet but start to create that length through the spine. Knees are slightly soft and we're thinking about lengthening into the spine and allowing the shoulders to soften away from the ears, but think about lifting up and out of the crown of the head. We're going to start to circle through our right shoulder. So we're going to inhale, we're going to pull up into the band, shrug the shoulders to the ear, and then use that resistance band and just allow it to draw that shoulder blade back and down. So the bands are really helpful in allowing us to work a little bit more into those deeper muscles and allows us to fire them up a little bit quicker using that resistance and help us to build strength. But good, we're just looking for that nice smooth circle as we check in with that shoulder, see how it feels. Might be a little bit clicky or a little bit crunchy, but we're just going to work those circles bigger for 2 more. Exhale as you draw that shoulder down your back. Okay, we're going to add a little side bend now. So we start the same. We're going to inhale, shoulder shrugs to the ear. We exhale. As it starts to come down the back, we follow it into a little side bend, breathing in, and then we breathe out. Use the tummy to help you rise up, grow tall. We go again. So we circle the shoulder, inhaling, running that right hand down the right leg, and then we exhale, grow nice and tall. Hips are nice and stable, feet are still grounded. That left foot isn't lifting from the mat. We're just lengthening through left side of the waist and finding that sense of opening, but also starting to activate into that tummy. And you should feel that as we exhale and think about growing tall, pulling into the resistance of the band to come up. We take our last one. Well done. We are gently just going to take the band off that foot. Band is coming into our hands now. Palms facing the thighs, and we're just taking tension into the band. So you're pulling the band apart and should feel some activation into the back of the shoulders. Posture is really important now. We don't want the shoulders to roll or round forwards. You're thinking long collarbones as we keep tension in the band. Slightly soft elbows, slightly soft knees. We're going to exhale, keep that neutral spine as arms start to lift into that full shoulder flexion, and then we inhale to lower, keeping tension in your band the whole time. Breathing out to lift, breathing in to lower. So nice and smooth. Should just feel some gentle tension in your band. Should be able to keep the shoulders drawing back and down. Also here, we're really mindful that as the arms lift, especially if we're stiff into the upper back, your ribs might want to push forwards and you might want to arch into your lower spine. Don't let that happen. Keep ribs connected to belly button and allow that movement to come from your shoulders. Sometimes we might want to compensate, arching into the back, but we were trying to open up that upper body. Good. But then next one, we add a side bend again. So we reach up just to that point where you can hold and try and reach out through the arms a little bit more, grow a little bit taller. We're going to inhale and we reach up and over into that side bend. Exhale, rise up, grow tall, arms lower. We repeat on the other side. All the time, keeping tension in the band, shoulder blades gently drawing back and down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, rise up. Should start to feel some activation into those shoulders now. If it's too much, you can always just loosen that tension into your band slightly or take a little rest and a roll of the shoulders. But otherwise, we take one more each side, lift up and out, like we're trying to float the rib cage off the pelvis, and we're just opening up the side body a little bit more. Big reach, not collapsing into the ribs. It's a real reach up and over. Exhaling to rise back up. And then arms can lower. Release that tension. We're taking the band under the left foot now for those shoulder rolls. Both ends of the band into left hand. Feet are still nice and parallel. Just soften into the knees. Reset that posture. Soften into the shoulders. We keep growing nice and tall. We start with shoulder circles on the left side now. Inhaling, shoulder shrugs to the ear. Exhale, use that band and allow it to draw that shoulder back and down. Should feel like a nice long arm as that shoulder melts away from the ear. Good. But we're still tall here. We're not being pulled to the left. We take 2 more circles. Then we're going to add that little side bend. Okay, this time we follow that shoulder as it starts to roll back. We find that gentle side bend, taking a breath in, and then we breathe out, grow tall as we pull up into the band. We go again. Start with the shoulder circle. It rolls up and back. Breathing in as we come down, exhaling to rise up, grow tall. Feet are nice and grounded. Make sure your hips don't sway to the right. They stay nice and still as we lengthen into that right side. But just 2 more. Well done, last one. Good work. We take that band out, again gently, watching it doesn't ping. But then we are going to take the band across our palms. Elbows are gently tucking in towards our ribs. Feet are still parallel, knees are soft. We're still finding that long neutral spine and collarbones are long. We're going to stabilize left arm now. Right hand is gently going to rotate out and around the rib cage, and then we inhale to control it in. So the shoulder is just rotating open into our external rotation. But the elbow, notice, stays nice and close towards my rib cage. Sometimes you might notice it wants to creep out and we want to straighten that arm. Try not to let that happen. It's quite a small, discrete movement, but really isolates into the back of our shoulder, into a collection of muscles called our rotator cuff. You might have heard of these, really important for shoulder stability, for strength and posture. So helps keep that shoulder blade and sort of shoulder in the socket and keeps it drawing back into that nice posture. But good. We keep that going. Don't worry if you can't go too far. Do what you can and focus on keeping that movement nice and smooth. Good, again, not letting the ribs pop. If your shoulders are stiff, you might want to push those ribs forwards. Don't let that happen. Keep growing tall. We go 3 more. Left arm is stabilizing for 2. And last one. Well done. We take that straight over to the other side. So we exhale, wrapping left arm out now. And especially for this one, if you've got a choice of resistance bands, obviously heavier resistance will make this harder, lighter resistance will make it easier. So if it does just feel too heavy and your shoulders want to shrug and you can hardly move that band, maybe either just ease off in this band or go to a lighter resistance. We want to be able to strengthen through range, so we should feel like we can get some movement through that shoulder. But good, don't let the shoulders round. Right arm is stabilizing now. We've got 3 more. Keep growing tall. Last 2. Last 1. Okay, we've finished this little bit. You might need to adjust the hands just a little bit wider because now we're going both hands wrapping open and then we control them coming together. We exhale, both hands wrap open. Band will just gently draw in towards your belly button, but make sure that belly button isn't traveling forwards. We're not popping through the ribs. We keep growing tall. Should feel the back of those shoulders working now. Good, but keep growing tall. Use that breath. We're almost there. For 4. You can do it. Last 3. 2. And 1. Yeah, good work. Well done. Release the arms. You can take some gentle shoulder rolls as we just step and move to the end of our mat. And then we're going to step into our band if we can. Ideally into that parallel position, but if your band is really short, you might need to bring your feet side by side just to give you a little bit more length into your band. But like I say, if we can, we're going to stay hip distance and even tension through each side of the band now. Band is gently melting those shoulders away from the ears. So again, we're trying to create those nice long arms, grounding into the feet, softening into the knees, but we're having to work just slightly to lift into the band. Because what I don't want you to happen, especially if it's quite a heavy band, that it's already starting to pull you forwards into that slumped posture. So we are having to lift up and out of that chest. But we're going to take our roll downs and we're taking it nice and slow. So we take a breath in to grow even taller. And then we're going to exhale. We gently fold the chin to the chest. We start to roll the shoulders forwards with control, lengthening the hands down the legs. The band is just facilitating that movement as we pull ribs and belly button back. Lengthening the hands down the legs, and then the band will start to come loose as we continue to reach towards the toes. Keep hold of your band, make sure weight is nice and even through the feet, arms are heavy, back of the neck is long, and then we take a breath in, we're going to breathe out, we tuck the tailbone, scoop belly button to spine as we start to peel through that lower spine, restacking bone by bone as we start to lift through our center and pull up into the band, rolling the shoulders back, lifting out of the crown of the head as shoulders roll away from the ears to finish. We take 2 more like that. So we inhale, grow tall, exhale, chin to chest, taking it slow, controlling that resistance. Ribs and belly button start to pull back as we melt down through the spine, bone by bone, finding that length into the back of the body. Thinking of that ragdoll posture now as arms are heavy, back of the neck is long. Enjoying that stretch into the back of the legs, but then final time, big breath in, breathing out, press into the feet, tuck the tailbone, scoop belly button to spine. We start to pull up into the band, using that core, using our abdominals to help us lift up and out, rolling the shoulders back, lifting out of the crown of the head and arms along to finish. Well done. We're going to roll all the way down to the mat this time. So breathing in, breathing out, exactly the same. Chin to chest, band just encouraging us to roll forwards, but we keep it smooth, we keep it slow. Arms are heavy as we roll all the way to the mat. You can let the band go now and then we can bend into the knees. We're going to walk it out onto all fours, but then just pick that band up, bring it with you. We're now going to come into a split kneel position. So if you do get uncomfortable in kneeling, you can grab a cushion or maybe a block for your knees just to give you a little bit more cushioning. But otherwise, I'm going to step my right foot forwards, left knee is back. My band is going to come under the ball of my right foot and I'm holding each end of the band. Really important here that we're nice and square and aligned to the top of our mat. So hips and knees are pointing forwards. You don't want that left hip to be twisting open. I'm nice and aligned through that left knee. So left knee, hip, shoulder, hopefully to the ear. Don't want to be leaning forwards, okay? We're going to keep a little check on that front knee as well. Sometimes it will want to drift across your midline. Try not to let that happen. We want lots of nice right angles and straight lines in this position. And we're going to work a bit more into that upper body again. Also a really great position to strengthen into your core, back of the shoulders into that posterior chain to help keep that stability and posture. So tension on our band, we roll the shoulders back, long collarbones, arms are nice and long, palms are facing behind us. We take a breath in, we're going to breathe out. We're just going to sweep back into the band, Ideally taking hands just slightly behind those hip bones, then we inhale to release. We go again, we exhale, drawing back into the tension of the band, and then gently releasing. All the time thinking of growing nice and tall, trying not to lean back, trying not to let the ribs pop, and keep those nice long collarbones. Here, as we pull into the band, the shoulders might want to be like a seesaw and come forwards as the arm comes back. We don't want that to happen. Think long collarbones, broad shoulders the whole time as we gently squeeze shoulder blades back and down and then release. You can stay at this level, or we're going to add some little pulses. So you pull back into the band, and then it's like a little 100 pulse. We go 3, 2, 1, and release. So short and sharp, we go again. Pull back into the band, hold, pulse for 3, 2, 1, and release. Torso stays nice and tall, nice and still. We're not swaying through the upper body. It's just a little bit more tension and work into the back of the shoulders. And we're still actively reaching down with the arms. So nice long arms. Good, well done. 3, 2, 1. 2 more sets. Good, don't puff the chest or push the ribs forwards. We keep growing tall, keep that neutral spine. Last set, 3, 2, 1. Well done, we gently release. Now we're going to just cross our band over and swap it into opposite hands. We're growing really nice and tall. Band is a little tighter now. And by all means, if you're strong into your upper body, you might go up on your resistance. But we're going to exhale. Hands are coming to the front of the shoulders as elbows go nice and wide, but don't lean back. We inhale to release, reaching just inside that right knee now. Exhale as we pull up and out. So now we're trying to expand the chest, opening up the front of the body, but working into the back of the shoulders and the deltoids. Good. Core is still connected, ribs tucking in towards belly button, and we're growing and lifting up out of the crown. Really tempting now to want to lean back. Try not to let that happen. Like I say, think about growing tall as we go. 4 more. Elbows come nice and high. Well done. Last 2. Good work. Keep growing tall. Last 1. Well done. Okay, you might just need to move that right hand onto the outer edge of right knee now. We're going to take some rotation, so keep growing tall, but now we're going to pull into left hand. That elbow will stay close to the rib cage, as does the hand, as we turn to look over that left shoulder into our rotation. And then we gently release, reaching back towards that left foot, right foot. And then we exhale to go through other side. Good. Inhale, release. Exhale to pull. So again, that elbow's coming nice and high, but this time it's reaching behind us as we draw that shoulder blade back and down. Still growing tall. We might want to lean back again. Try not to let that happen. Might feel a little bit more unstable now, so it's just challenging that balance and stability as we take 4 more. But hip bones should stay shining forwards. That right knee is really nice and still and stable. Last 1 each side. Wringing out our waist like a damp cloth. Well done. Okay, we take that band away, but we're going to stay in this position. Sweeping the arms up over our head, similar to what we did in the beginning this time. Drawing shoulders down away from the ears, open out the band, creating some tension. We take a breath in. And as we do that, we're tucking the tailbone. We're trying to tension into that left hip flexor. So I want you to think about drawing your belly button towards your spine and tailbone down. Might feel more of a stretch now into that left hip. We can press and keep taking hips forwards as long as we can keep the tuck of the tailbone. You don't want to feel a big curve through lower spine. We're just opening the hips now. We take a breath in, but then we're going to breathe out. We start to straighten that right leg as we start to hinge at the hip, reaching the band towards the toes, but keeping a long spine. We don't want to round and slump. That's exactly what we're trying not to do. Think long spine, lengthen into your seat, into your sitting bones. into your tailbone. Just a gentle reach of band over the toes should feel a stretch into the back of the right leg. And then we're going to repeat twice more. So then we inhale, tuck the tailbone. Hips can start to travel forwards as we lift the chest. Keep tension drawing out into your band. Breathe in. And then on that next exhale, we can fold again. Think long into that right leg. Well done. One more. Inhale, lift. Hips travel forward, but really tuck the tailbone. Pull the ribs and belly button back. Take that posterior pelvic tilt through the pelvis. And then exhale to fold. Well done. Coming up, we've got the same to go on the other side. So you can carefully just swap the legs around. Adjusting that cushion or pillow if you've used it under that back knee. And then we've got a second set for the arms. So band is just going under the ball of that left foot now. Just resetting posture. Make sure hips, knees, shoulders are all aligned, pointing forwards, pointing the top of our mat. We're growing tall off that right knee. We're nice and stacked through right knee, hip, shoulder, ear as we lift up and out of the crown. Collarbones, along shoulders, gently drawing back and down. We're going to exhale. We start to draw back into the band and then we inhale to release. Nice and smooth. Shoulder blades shouldn't shrug or round. It's just a gentle squeeze of those shoulder blades together. Like we're just trying to lengthen into the front of the shoulders a little bit more. Good, keeping it nice and smooth. Using that breath, neutral spine. Option to add those pulses this time. So as we go again, we pull back into the band, pause, hold that tension. We pulse for 3, 2, 1, and then gently release. Good, we go again. 3, 2, 1, and release. We're not swaying through the torso. As we pulse, we're trying to grow a little bit taller. Hands reaching down towards the floor. Keeping that breathing going. Pulses are nice and controlled. Shouldn't be too jerky or like the resistance of the band is keeping that control. We're keeping them nice and smooth. 2 more sets. Just taking that intensity up. Well done. And release. From there, we then cross that band. You might make it a little bit tighter now to increase that resistance. From here, we're going into our high row. So we take a breath in. You're going to breathe out. We're going to send those elbows up and out. That left hand and left band might just need to come inside that left knee as we take the elbows nice and wide. We inhale, reaching towards left foot. Exhale, go wide. That's it. Hands are coming up towards the front of the shoulders, but we're not leaning back. We look forwards. Make sure you're not looking down. If we look down, our posture ends up slumping down. Nice proud chest. Squeezing shoulder blades together, but working a little bit higher into those shoulders now. Keep it smooth. Little pause at the top and then gently release. Well done. 3 more. Don't lean back. Keep that core connected. Last 2. Last 1. Well done. We finished this little bit with our rotation. So that left hand now, for me, is just coming on the outer edge of the knee. We take a breath in. We're going to breathe out. We start to draw back through that left hand as we rotate to look over left shoulder, growing really nice and tall. And then we gently release. And right arm will go. Hand grazes past the rib cage. Elbow leads to allow us to look behind. But we're not leaning back. It's pure rotation, trying to rotate through the rib cage. Like your ribs are just rotating on top of your pelvis into that thoracic spine. Still getting that gentle squeeze of that shoulder blade drawing back and down. And you should just feel you're having to pull and work into that resistance. Good. 3 more. Waist is like a damp cloth. We're trying to wring it out. Last 1. And release. Great work. We take that stretch. So we take the band out now, staying in this split kneel position, but we sweep the arms up, trying to take the band over the crown of the head, but we're keeping ribs connected. Tuck the tailbone as we try and draw tailbone down and belly button to spine. Doing that, you might start to feel that stretch into that right hip flexor. You might keep there, or if you want a deeper stretch, we can keep the tuck of the tailbone and just start to press the hips forwards a little bit more, increasing that stretch. Meanwhile, we keep tension in the band. We take a breath in, and then as we exhale, we start to hinge and fold at the hip, like we're trying to lengthen the band over the left foot, but we keep a long spine. We're not rounding into the upper back. We're trying to really lengthen out through sitting bones, through tailbone as we take that reach. Inhale, rise up, tuck the tailbone, push the hips forwards, opening into right hip flexor now. On your next exhale, we fold again. Reaching over the toes, but think long spine. Final time, inhale, lift. Exhale to fold. Well done. Coming out of it. Really good. Okay, from here, we finish coming into a long sitting position. So we're going to sweep the legs around, still using our band. And depending on your legs and how tight you are into your hamstrings, you might find this position hard or easy. But we're going to sweep the band around the outer edges of the feet. And if you've got nice long hamstrings, you might find it quite easy to sit in this position and grow nice and tall off your sitting bones. If you struggle with that position and already you're feeling yourself drop back into that tilt, you can either lift yourself up on a block or some books, which makes it easier, or you can just bend into your knees a little, okay? Feet are hip distance, and we're flexing the feet, lengthening into our heels, pulling the toes towards us. As we start to move here, the more tension you have on the band, it will be a little bit heavier on your arms, but it will be easier on your tummy. As you loosen your band and take less resistance, it's less supportive, so we'll work you more through your tummy. So you can always modify that depending on how hard you want to work and how you're feeling today. But otherwise, we're going to start with a similar movement that we did in high kneeling. So we're going to cross our band. We're trying to grow really tall off those sitting bones. And we're going into a high row. So we're going to exhale. We're going to pull those hands towards the front of the shoulders and elbows go wide. We inhale, release. Don't lean back. Good. High row. Good. Exhale. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Really imagine I'm pulling you up by the crown of your head now. I want you to be really lifting up and out of those sitting bones. Not here for too long. Well done. Last one. Good work. Now we're going to turn palms in. We're going to go into a closer row. Inhaling to reach. Hands will graze to rib cage as we squeeze the elbows back behind us. Don't let the feet come together. Keep growing tall. Imagine you've got a little piece of string pulling that belly button forward. Stay on your sitting bones. You want to be long through that lower spine. Good. Again, really working into those deep stabilizing muscles and those bigger muscles working over the top to open up the posture. Last 3. 2. 1. Good job. Well done. Okay, we uncross the band, still growing tall, but now we're going to keep upper body still. We're going to move through lower spine, firing up our abdominals. We take a breath in. Now we're going to breathe out. Upper body doesn't move. We just start to tuck the tailbone. Belly button will start to roll back. Upper body, if anything, starts to sink as we just start to slump and roll off those sitting bones into a posterior pelvic tilt. We take a breath in. We breathe out. You reach your fingertips towards the feet as we start to restack and roll through lower spine back onto sitting bones to grow really tall. We go again. We exhale, tuck tailbone. Belly button will pull back. Ribs will draw to belly button as we come off the sitting bones. Small pelvic tilt. Reach upper body over lower body, reaching to toes as we rise up to grow tall. So it's quite a small movement to start with. And keep it slow, keep it smooth. Often, if you've done this before, you might want to sort of quickly progress and take that movement bigger. But I really want you to focus on isolating that movement into your lower spine. Think upper body still and just roll off the sitting bones into that pelvic tilt. Good. But then as you feel more comfortable and as you feel able, we can start to take that further, but we still start with that pelvic tilt. Really important to fire up the tummy, lengthen into your heels, pulling belly button back. We inhale to hold and then exhale. Think about upper body curling over lower body, reaching towards the feet, using the band to help you to rise up, grow tall. Good. Legs shouldn't be lifting. You might feel like you get a little slide. That's okay. And shouldn't be any work or load into your back. Should feel it into that tummy as we go nice and slowly. But watch as we start to concentrate on tummy and abs that the shoulders start to lose that posture. So think about wrapping shoulder blades back. But okay, I'm going to give you a few other options now, and they are options depending how hard you want to work. So now you can start to add some rotation. So as we start to tuck the tailbone, rolling off the sitting bones, we can pull back into one arm as we look over that shoulder, like we did in that high kneel, and then arm will straighten as we come back up. We go again, we exhale, tuck the tailbone, rolling off the sitting bones, other arm will draw back into a little row. And keep going. Nice and smooth, still synchronizing into that rotation and keeping that control. Toes are still flexed, feet pulling to you. I'm keeping my movement relatively small as I'm in my second trimester of pregnancy, but you might be able to work a little bit further than me, so you can go for it as long as you feel that isolation into your tummy, no load into your spine, and you can feel that form staying nice and strong. Okay, so you can stay at that level, or I'll give you our last option. If at any point you need to rest and come out of this position, you can. Sometimes as our tummy fatigues, hip flexors might kick in. So again, you might benefit from coming onto a block or just having a quick stretch. But this is our last little bit. So reset into that posture. Now we're adding a bicep curl. So we do exactly the same. We've got tension in the band, feet hip distance, tuck the tailbone. We start to roll off the sitting bones, rolling it down to that point where we can hold, palms will rotate to the sky. We're going to exhale, we pull into the band and then release. Trying to take 3 to 5 bicep curls, keeping those elbows high. And then once you've done those 3, use that band to allow you to curl and lift through the spine, back onto those sitting bones, and then we go again, exhale. It's almost like your body is moving in different directions as we move back. So your ribs and belly button are pulling back, and your upper body is almost trying to keep reaching forward. So you're curling over yourself, and we hold with those bicep curls for 3 to 5. So if you want to go higher with those reps, it does just increase that hold, increases that intensity. But well done. 2 more sets here. Keep scooping through that tummy, legs along, grounding into the feet. And we take our last one. Good. To that point where you can hold, where you feel that biting point, challenging those abdominals, challenging our endurance. But then once you've done your bicep curls, we reach towards the toes and rise up to grow really tall. Well done. If you want to keep going with that movement, you can use it to help you transition down onto the mat, keeping the band around your feet, and take a slow roll all the way back into lying. But I'm just going to transition onto my side and come all the way down onto the mat. So now we're going to finish with our stretches. Okay, using our band, you're just going to take the band around your left foot now. Right leg can come down nice and long to the floor. And we're just going to exhale, sending that left leg up towards the ceiling as we start to stretch into the hamstring. We hold and breathe, softening into the shoulders as we take that nice stretch into the back of the leg. Making sure we keep that nice alignment. We want hip, knee and ankle to be relatively stacked. You don't want to drop it across your midline just yet. Hips and pelvis are nice and level. Right heel is gently pressing into the floor, and you might feel that gentle opening into that right hamstring. Okay, but then right arm is going to open out to the side. Both ends of the band are in my left hand. I'm going to press into my right heel, my right hip, my right shoulder, or stay grounded. As I just gently start to open the left foot out to the side and feel that inner thigh start to open and stretch. You can hold it there if that feels okay for you, or you might choose to come in and out of that stretch. It can be quite a strong one. So we go again, opening with control, not letting the right side of the pelvis lift or twist. Well done. We go again, nice and smooth. Okay, last one. And then this time, as it starts to come up, we're going to let it rotate past the midline, but the bands just need to swap into right hand, and left arm is coming out to the side now. So now the foot is going to continue, and the left hip can lift as that right foot starts to roll into a full spinal twist. We turn to look towards left hand. Left shoulder stays nice and grounded, but we're lengthening through that left side of the body. I'm slightly blocked by my bench here, but you may find that foot can start to rotate all the way towards the floor, and we just hold and breathe, especially breathing into the left side of the ribs. You should feel that stretch, maybe depending where you're tight, even through left shoulder, maybe into your waist, back, glute, or even still into the hamstring. If you're getting any kind of nerve sensations or pain, ease out of it, definitely. Bend the knee, reduce your range. You don't want to feel any kind of pins and needles, tingling, numbness, any sharp, nervy pain. Should just feel like a good stretch. But we take one more deep breath. And then we can carefully start to lift that leg back up and fold it in. We take it over to the other side. So left leg can go long now. Right leg is going to shoot up towards the ceiling. And we're gently lengthening that left leg, pressing into left heel. Right leg is starting to draw to the sky. You can use a heavier band if you feel like you need a bit more support, or just double that band over. But watch the stretch now, again, isn't pulling the shoulders away from the mat and undoing all that good work we've already done for our posture. Try and melt your shoulder blades into the mat as we take that stretch. But then both ends of that band will come into right hand, left arm can open. We're gently pressing into left heel, hip, shoulder to stay nice and grounded. Right leg is gently going to start to open away from the midline. Find that stretch into inner thigh. And then you might even hold, or if it's strong, you can come in and out of it. But don't let that left hip lift or roll. Everything through that left side stays nice and grounded. Opening up the hips. Well done. From here, that right foot is going to start to cross our midline. Both ends of the band will come into left hand. Right arm is coming out to the side as we gently start to turn to look towards that right side, and we take that full rotation. Breathing nice and deeply into that right side, trying to soften and ground into your right shoulder. And it should feel like a nice stretch. Really gets you through the whole body now, from upper body, through the spine, into lower body. Breathe nice and deeply. Just allowing us to cool down. And then when you're ready, you can gently just start to allow that leg to come back up, or you might choose to bend the knee in. You can take the band and just pop it down next to you. Knees and feet can bend and they come together on your mat. Arms can stay really nice and wide. Palms face the sky, finishing, just finally opening up into the front of the chest. And we just take some gentle knee rolls side to side, just to release off that lower spine. Feeling grateful for being able to move well today and allow us to really focus on that posture. But just releasing through that lower spine, keeping the feet stacked and the knees glued together. Well done. And then we can carefully turn onto our side and come into a seated or a standing position. But you are all finished. So hopefully you really enjoyed that session. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit lighter, a little bit more lifted into that posture, and you feel the benefits through the rest of your week.